Yeah, it's not bad. Looks pretty good. That'll work. Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning, by the way. Well, I might as well tell you what's going on. In this video, I'm basically taking old bed frames and turning them into a rack system to mount to the top of my bus so that I can put up my new solar panels. So I'll give you a recap kind of on how this is going to work. I'm going to use the legs of the bed frame where the casters went in to provide the angle lift that I need to make the solar panels work. And then I'm going to cut this angle iron down to size and utilize each one of these cuts as a mounting bracket to mount it to the roof, get it all welded together, and be good to go. So in the meantime, this is day 2, so check out what was going on yesterday. So basically what just happened there is my cable, my feeder cable on my welder broke. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to kind of fix this real quick. So check this out. You guys can see what happened. And if you're like, his welds probably look like crap because I'm just blasting through them. I'll show you those real quick. Because I know people like to criticize. So a little bit of, joining there. A little bit of joining there. Locking it. And then we'll go around to this side. Not exactly the greatest, but I don't care. So, but anyway, back to the welding cable. Just made this one. So, it broke right there. So, and it's been broken for a while, but I just tried to feed it. And obviously you can see it didn't feed. It went around it. So how I'm gonna fix that is like this. So I'll put the camera back on the tripod, turn it around, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in case you guys are looking at me like I'm crazy about what I'm gonna do, I could take the handle apart and just fix it, but honestly, that extra 4 inches, it's not worth how much cable and stuff I'd have to coil back and forth. So I'm gonna do it this way. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test fit this one. These are wire butt splice connectors with melting ends. And when you look inside of them, you're probably not gonna be able to see it. And if you can see that little tab in there. Well, that little tab, you've got to flatten out. So you take your standard pick tool, just like that. You jam it in there. Try not to stab yourself in the palm. That will hurt really, really bad. I got it all the way down. So now I have a solid hole. See? There's nothing in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit it on this, and I'm going to see how well this works. What I'm going for is I'm going for the wire feed cable itself to sleeve into this where you would normally crimp it, and then do the same thing to this and then melt the ends together. So it looks like it's gonna go. It might not. Let's try this bigger one real quick just to see, because if it goes really good into this one, I'll just use this one. It goes pretty good in that one. So let's get that zip tie out of the way. So I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. This one's a little bit harder. Main reason why it's harder is because it's bigger. Much bigger. Okay. That one's a little harder to do that with. So I'm gonna go back to this one and see if I can just kind of slam this thing in here really good. Yep, not quite big enough, so we're gonna have to go with the big one. So I just figured I'd fill you in on exactly what I'm doing. So you guys check out the rest of the video. Well, that took a little bit more work than I was expecting, but you can see the connection right there. Okay, you got to be really slow when you do something like this. This is what the internals look like. I ended up having to take it apart anyway just to double check everything. And then what I found out was my my main head, wherever it went. Ah, there it is. Right there, my main tip was a little too boogered up to let the wire through it, so it was binding. Ended up pulling that thing back out, so I'll have to get a new tip later. In the meantime, I'm gonna clean this one up and keep using it, but I got my wire out of it. So I'm gonna finish fixing my welder, which is just ridiculous. I can't complain. I really can't. I mean, I bought this Campbell Hose-Field welder. It's a Flux Core 80, and it's a 120 welder, wire feed. It's been phenomenal for me. I got it with this from a friend that I work with a long time ago, back when I actually used to be a dishwasher, and he sold it to me for 20 bucks. So I'm not complaining. I'm gonna scab this thing together until it doesn't work, and then I'll consider buying a new whip or another welder. But in the meantime, I'm gonna finish this. Well, that's done with just enough daylight left. That's actually kind of nice. So I got all 4 sections of bed frame welded. The reason why I did that is because my solar panel kit that I got, I want to mount them in the back, but I already have 2 panels that are mounted directly to the deck, and I don't feel like pulling them out and then worrying about any leaks or anything, because it hasn't been leaking at all since I installed it like 5+ years ago. But I'm going to use these bed frames to support off the top sides around those other 2 panels, so that I can have all my solar in one area on the bus. And on top of that, I only got 16 feet of wire from the company. I don't feel like buying any more, so I would like to be able to run it immediately from the back, right into the back, and down to where I'm going to mount my new setup. So I just figured I'd show you that, you know, a little welding project. And I'll show you the welder that I got, that way you guys can see it. So this is officially my $20 welder. It's got a high and a low, wire speed options, little itty bitty 110 suitcase welder. It's honestly not bad. And that old school helmet for 20 bucks. And there is my patch job right here. So that's what the end result was. I got it all put back together, good to go. Still gonna need a new tip, but that tip will work at least until the next time I gotta change a wire. I'll make sure I get tips before that though. But yeah, I got one coming up for the final product on that. I'm almost done, but I think the weather might have gotten to me. So I do have a couple of things I want to add to it. But when that one's ready, I'll make the video on what the paint job looks like on my bus and how it came out. All right, so in the meantime, I'm gonna pack everything up since it's getting dark. And this is part one. Now I know you can see that frame up on my roof now, right up there. So this is the start of day two. And I'll just show you what I got going on with one section. Well, the brackets are done. So I've got 4 for each leg, because I got 8 legs. So there's 4 right there. And then for my angle going in, which would be the cross support of the bed, I also have 4, so there's 8. There's 8 branch legs. So now it's time to line it up and then weld it in place after it's been clamped. But it was literally that easy. All right, so you guys basically saw what I did, right? I set it up there. I measured 30 inches off my other solar panel that I have up there. And the reason I did that is because my panels are 26.5, and with a mounting bracket, which is going to be mounting directly to the roof on that side, they're roughly at about 28. So I figured if I did 30 from the solar panel, that would be plenty to be able to mount it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this welded and then continue the process. I just figured I'd show you what the process kind of looked like. I know it was a time lapse. It's all right. It'll all come together for you. Well, there it is. So I'll show you what it looks like on the roof now. So let me get up this ladder here for a second. So square magnets are your best friend. So I got that bracket welded. I was beating it with a crescent wrench to make sure that it wouldn't come loose. And then right up over there, I've got my other bracket. Same thing on this other side, right over here. And then you got that bracket down the line right over there. And I'm kind of bummed I'm getting my roof all dirty. And then basically what I did is I went ahead and spaced 30 inches. So you can see it right there, 30 inches to the edge of my channel. and it comes off that other solar panel right there. So the idea is to mount the solar panel and use 2 legs just like that on this side, but then bolt to the angle iron here. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not going to do a time lapse of all this stuff. I just figured I would show you what I got going on. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this project. This will be the end of this video. And the next video will probably be a time lapse of me actually installing the entire system once I'm done. At least, you know, to speed up some of the boring stuff. But anyway, you guys take care. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like on it if you liked anything about it. Drop a comment down below, even if you want to criticize my welding skills or the fact that I wasn't really wearing any welding gloves or anything else, you know, jacket, stuff like that. Share it with a friend and subscribe, all right? So, you guys take care. I'll see you next time. Well, there it is. You know, I'd say it came out pretty good. So there's the framing. 800 watts of solar added. Gotta get creative. Old bed frames, man, it's the way to go.